Right, we are here with the TTAC14 quarterfinals between Slash of Time and Piggyman. They played game one, but I missed it. I am barely awake, so we might be struggling here. Um, I think we'll look at game one to start with, but I'll try to make sure we catch the moves here as well. This is the closed rule set. This one is Stips I came up with. I should bring up the rule set so at least I can describe them. TTAC 14. This one is 4 through 7, same plus plus wall combo, closed. I didn't pick the closed part, which should have been the open set, but that's okay. Must total level of cards must be no higher than 26, rares and semis allowed. So, because it's 4 through 7, that means if you want to use 2 level 7s, you'll be stuck with 3 level 4s for your remaining cards, right? If you want to use a 7 and a 6, you're going to have a 5, 4, and 4 for your remaining cards. And so I think figuring out how you want to distribute what levels you think are relatively powerful, what levels are relatively weak. So Slash of Time starts with a 6, 7, 6, 3. On these split level sets, I know my instinct is also to use 6, 7, 6, 3s. I think they are, so dominant on level 5, but combined with each other, specifically if one is in 5, if he has 6, 3, 6, 7, which I would now be completely assuming if I'm Piggyman, that's going to have coverage against 8s as well. Right, anything on the right side of the board, it can sweep 8, 7s, and 6s. So one thought I would have if I was Piggyman is to play in 6 with numbers other than 7 up and down. Just kind of try to kill that card. That'd be one thought. Because I think if we're thinking, I think this card is very likely to be with its pair. I think 6, 7, 6, 3s work really well together. All right, Piggy shows a level 4, but let's get back to Slash for now. So those two cards use up 10 levels, so he has 16 levels remaining. So he could be using 4 level 5s and a level 6. He could be using, what else can you do with 2 5s? If you use 2 5s and a 4, your remaining cards could be 2 6s or a 7 and a 5. If you use 2 5s and a third 5, then it has to be 5 6 or 4 7 to end the hand. So actually, even if we know 2 5s, there are lots of combinations that use 2 5s. Piggy has started with a 4. I think if we're assuming 6, 3, 6, 7, which again, I am just assuming, I just think that's probably what we're seeing, that is now very good for 8, but not that great in 4. So I kind of like this, because if Slash holds on to 6, 3, 6, 7, potentially it could have one square really well, but not the other. Hard to comment too much on closed games. They're playing fairly quickly, so I will wait for the game to end before I go to the open game they played, just to prove it was played. Here is them having tied the open game. We will look at that in uglier view shortly. But first, we will stay here. Piggyman, as we'll see in the first game, because he sent me the move order, likes to, will often play the Slash. That's a formation he's really high on. I should send him a message. Piggyman likes to play the Slash. So if a 5 starter is met by 7, he'd likely go in 3. Or if a 7 corner is met in 5, he'd likely go in 3. Not the only place he'll go, but certainly his preferred way of handling those positions. I believe I statistically just counted moves different top players made at one point, and he was the most prone to the Slash of any top players. Slash of Time, of course, is Slash in the name, but that has nothing to do with it. I don't know what he is prone to do. I obviously really like to go in for an 8 here, but not enclosed. That's specifically when I know the matchup of the cards and I'm trying to exploit it. I think 2, 3, and 6 are the most common squares. I would guess Slash likes 3, but I don't really know. He does go 3, and he shows a level 4. So he's used 9 levels. He has 17 remaining. Now, if he's using 6367, it's more important, I think, to discuss what Slash has in his hand, because he went first, so he will have to use all the cards, and Piggy is likely to end the game on a decision of what does he think Slash has. I think importantly for Piggy, he has not flipped 5. My instinct would be to go in one of the sides with a move that continues to not flip 5, and specifically is weak to 5 and leaves open squares his combos against 5. Now, I would guess Piggy does not have another card with double numbers facing up left, so I think 6 is not a good square for Piggy, is my guess. Just, obviously, I do not know the cards. So I would think about blocking 6 in some way with a high number out facing and a weak number facing 5. But it depends where Piggy has combos. He played 7, so Piggy has a good chance to have combo play in 4 and 8. And so just assuming he has combo play in those squares, either 2 or 6. Now, often it's a little more forcing, a little more pressure on the opponent if you flip the card in 3. It's easier to flip it from 2. He probably has more options to do that. So maybe 2 is this place to pick. It depends what your best combo square is, too. If your best combo square is 4, if you play 2, 4 is least likely to be occupied soon. While if you start in 6, 8 is least likely to be occupied soon. So it depends which of those squares you care more about keeping open. It also, if you have 6 or 8, maybe you want to leave those open. 1 and 9 are, of course, also plausible options. They do potentially concede the L. This is a split level set where it may turn out that the higher levels are just really dominant sweepers, and there are various X's where you just lose on the spot. And I think you have enough less play there that you probably don't do it. I think the X is actually easier to defend without combo, because without combo, you just need to put them in a spot where they can't take one card at the end. With combo, even if you put them in a spot where they don't have the triple capture, if they have a double capture and it combos one card extra, you still lose. So I think it has a little more sense. Okay, Piggy blocks 4 with a same. Now, because he had such good play in 4, I wouldn't have blocked that square. But this is a reasonable way of playing, and also his other cards may not have fit. He has a high number out facing that might be hard to take, especially we think Slash is on 6367, and he has also used his card for 1. Right now, I would predict Slash has a big corner for 9, a card for 1, a card for 9, a 6367, and an unknown card, maybe a high up down, maybe a high side to side. That would be my guess at his hand, but the cards I'd be most confident of is I think there is 6367, and I think there is a card for 9. And this might have a reasonable plan there, because if you induce the 6367 to land in 8, maybe you play in 9, and Slash's card for 9 will not be so good. Pig has used 10 levels of power. He has 16 left. Slash has used 9. He has 17 left. Probably not going to make a big difference, but if it gets down to the last few cards, I'd start trying to make some hard reads. On the other hand, one thing I don't like about this move is if it draws 6367 out of Slash's hand, that card is probably only really good for 8 here, so it gives it a good use, right? And it does block a square Piggy at really good combo play, and it does flip 5, which I think limits some options. I know this is a reasonable way of playing, and I know lots of people do it. It is not the way I handle these positions, for whatever that's worth. But I also, not the most amazing closed player. I think I am good at closed in this format, though, because I do put a lot of energy into A, reading hands, and B, minimizing losses in a way I think is somewhat effective. All right, so we do see 6-3-6-7 come out. Now, if we're Piggy, we should expect a card that's good for 9, something somewhat paired with the 3-6-7-4. Slash has now shown 14 levels, so he has 12 levels left. That could be 2 6s or a 7 and a 5. If they're 6s, 8-7-5-3s and 8-8 corners. If it's a 7 and a 5, I would expect an 8-7-6-4 or a big 8-8 corner, and I'm not sure what else for the level 5. Now, I think Slash has a card for 9. If it is, say, a level 5 that's sort of the opposite of the 3-6-7-4, then I have no idea what his last card is. I don't have a good read. However, I think there is no 8-4-6-7. The only 8-7-6-4s for that corner, there's 7-6-4-8, Silver Dragon. Now, Silver Dragon makes more sense if you're going to run it with the 6-7-6-3s that are up down, just because it plays well off the 7s and the 6s there, better than it plays off these. Is there any other 8-7-6-4 for 9? I'm not sure. So I don't think there's one that covers Piggy playing a 9 very well. Now, Slash did have to flip that back 5, so Piggy has ways to slide, but the reason his move in 4 doesn't appeal to me as much is because what I would want to do here is say we have 6, is play in 2 with something weak to 5, and have 4 be weak to 5. Slash goes 1, and then we go 6, we combo 5 and 3, we flip 2 and 4 as well. That's 4 cards locked in, and we have at least a tie. And so that's the kind of cue I tend to aim for defensively. Of course, if we go 2, sometimes they have a forced win in 9, but it's pretty hard to do, especially with the 3 facing out from 8. They have to be scared of combos, and it's unlikely they have the perfect card for 1, as well as not walking into combos there. Here, that kind of move is not as appealing because you can't combo back 4. And also, I mean, I don't know Piggy's hand, but we're less likely to have 6, right? We already used up a great combo square in 4. So my way of playing this is not that likely. The problem with going somewhere like 1 is if Slash goes 9, you can be lost on the spot. Of course, every move can be lost on the spot here. Closed is tough for second turn. But I think this is difficult, and I don't have a good read on Slash's remaining cards. One thing I also is, if I think I know a card in the opponent's hand, I may... Okay, he also has 3-6-7-4. So Piggy has shown 14 levels, so he has 12 left. Slash has also shown 14 levels, so he has 12 left. What I take this to mean is Piggy does not have 6, but he does have 2. So he went in 4, which is likely to cause 2 or 8 to be blocked. Interestingly, this was a decent card for 2 just because it has the plus wall there. So I'm assuming one of Piggy's cards, especially because 2 will not be occupied, right? It's the only square not paired with 9. 9 is often met by 1, 9 is often met by 6. Slash will be choosing between those, but it's never met by 2, so 2 will be left open. So one of Piggy's remaining cards is something better for 2. Based on what we've seen from Piggy, we've seen corners for 1, 9, and 7. Alright, Slash plays there. That's a level 6. So Slash has used 20 levels. He has a level 6 remaining. He's kind of covered all 4 corners. I have no idea what his last card is. I don't have a read for Piggy. He just got to play in 2 and have high out facing. Without knowing the rest of the cards and assuming Piggy has a nice card for 2, alright, the big risk moment. Very unlikely to be a tie here, but still can happen. Actually, can happen pretty easily. But I think I would have played, instead of going in 4, I think I would have played 3, 6, 7, 4, and 6, because I'm just assuming that's Piggy's worst square. Um, but we don't know the remaining card. He gets comboed. Yeah, 5-8-7-3 and 7-3-5-8 are a pretty common pairing. I should have called that. I did move a little off it just because 3-6-7-4 was already a card for 1, but I should have mentioned that as a high possibility. And that also makes sense because Slash can play 6 there and know he has at least a tie. Nothing that plays in 2 can be safe to him. Yeah, so Slash gets the win in the closed here. I was mostly from Piggy's perspective on this one, but from Slash's, I think it was pretty straightforward, right? He played the card in 5 that wasn't his lowest level, but combined well with a different card in 5, and it was the most redundant one because, right, he has 2 corners for 1, so he gets a card out of his hand that could also be a corner for 1. He sort of has 3 corners for 1. Then after the reply, he plays in 3. In a way, he can take back pretty comfortably. Not high combo power, but first turn often needs power more than combo in these L's, or in these slashes. He goes in 8, which gives up his capture in 6 actually, but it keeps blank in his hand, which is more powerful. When 9 is played, he has a safe way to capture that keeps a really strong sweeper. And so Slash takes the lead in the matchup. We're now going to go back to game 1, I suppose. I'm going to bring up the solver here, and we're going to look at that. So hopefully everything's still working, and we're going to take a peek at this game. It's going to be a quick peek because I want to get back to their playing, but we'll do a quick solver check. Piggy starts in 3. This looks like a good move to me. Slash's hand is clearly, Piggy is red, Slash is blue. Slash's hand is clearly a bit weaker going up. None of his lower level cards are particularly good going up. And he has potential difficulties taking from 2. For instance, 5-8-7-6 can be comboed by 5-8-8-4, and 6-8-8-5 takes a very powerful card out of Slash's hand. The solver is less impressed. It says 17 out of Slash's 40 replies lose on the spot, which is a somewhat high rate of losses, so it also likes the starter. Slash replies in 5, and this does not set him up any better to play in 2, but it does give him a plus in 6, though that plus is shared by... No, it's not shared by Piggy, because Piggy, of course, already used his 4-6-8-7. But it does give Piggy a same with a 8-7-6-5 in both squares, which really means if I'm Piggy, I would be drawn to leaving open maximal combos and go in 7. Indeed, Piggy does go in 7. The solver thinks this is a low-pressure move from Slash, which we would expect, given that it gives Piggy such combo potential. But it is not a losing move, and moves of this type can often be losing. This one is not. Slash goes A4-7, Piggy goes A4-7-8, 5-8-8-4 looks really good in 4 and 8. And Slash, okay, most of Slash's moves are still tying, so there is probably a higher pressure option for Piggyman here. They are into game 3, so we're going to speed through this. Piggyman goes in 7. This will also mean when I discuss this with Piggyman, hopefully later, I won't have full solver knowledge of things, which is good, because we'll be able to discuss more straightforwardly. Slash blocks 8 with an 8 facing out that Piggy can't take. Piggy has used his highest level card and has run out of left power. So this smartly takes safety. It is still a tie. Piggy goes in 4, recapturing, gets the Q. Slash has 2 ties here. He again goes against that left weakness. Now Piggy has only 1 tie. He does find it. 4, 8, 5, 6, and 9 when 8, 7, 6, 5 is all the recaptures needed. Because if you he ends up playing it 2, but if you do this one, I combo back really hard because you have to plus the card in 3. So Slash goes here, and Piggy goes here. Yay, no captures. We have a tie. Let's come back to the action. Looks like a nicely played first game. So here, what's the rule set? I'm going to check that. The rule set is level 5 through 7, same plus wall combo. Max use 2 level 5s, 2 level 6s, and 1 level 7. Each card must have exactly one number of the level it's on. Anything with 2 or more 5s on level 5, 6s on level 6, and 7s on level 7 are not allowed. No rare semis. So if we look at the hands, the level 5s must have exactly 1 5 on it, and both players went for 7 6 5 4s. What are the options? 7 5 3s are available if you want to counter to 8s from the level 7s, but the level 7s cannot have 2 8s. Or sorry, the level 7s cannot have 2 8s. So, and the level 6 cannot have 2 8s either, based on the requirement that they have a 6 and 7 on them. There's no cards with both of those. So there's not that many 8s running around. So, are there any other options besides 7 6 5 4s that are serious? 7 7 5 doesn't exist. 7 6 5 something else. 7 6 5 4s are better than 7 6 5 3s. So I think that just basically guaranteed they'd run 7 6 5 4s on level 5. Slash again goes with a 5 starter. He is like to the 5 starters with some synergy. We can see clear synergy here. This game he has gone for Silver Dragon, a card I thought he might have used last game, though his level 6 on the last turn. I wish we'd had a little more time to think there, because I think I would have realized what Slash's last card must be after seeing 7 3 5 8. But Piggy didn't have much choice after the move in 6, so it doesn't really make a difference. So I think 7 6 5 4 is basically forced on level 5. On level 6, you need cards with a 6. Here, I like Slash's choice more than Piggy's. I think 7 5 6 5 1 gaps are going to be somewhat relevant, but you have access to so many of those on the 7 6 5 4s, and you're not going to need that much power to take 8s. And with so many 1 gaps, you probably have tools to take 8s. So, and you already have a card with a 7 and 5 facing up, so I'm not sure what power that brings. It might have been intended to be like a starter, because he has these 4 corners, and so he was just trying to pick an up-down card that could be gotten out of the hand while the other cards work well together and could be played off. That is something Piggy does a lot. But I think that's the area for improvement on Piggy's hand. Otherwise, the hand looks lovely, right? 7 6 5 4s are a nice fit, and you have these 8 7 6 2s that are pairs. One's a very powerful level 6, the 2 8 7 6, and one's a level 7 7 7 6 2 8 that pairs with it. Both have a 7 on a 6 on it. Both are pretty good for their level. 7 6 2 8 is no 7 6 4 8, and maybe you actually maybe Silver Dragon would be the better fit here. Not quite the opposite, but just the raw power, the ability to plus wall the 7 may have worked well here. For Piggy, it's very rough to see Silver Dragon in Slash's hand, because Silver Dragon plays so well with Piggy's hand. Both plays well off the 2 8 7 6, but also the 5 4 7 6, the multiple 7s down. Does make me think that maybe Piggy should have gone not for the exact pair, maybe for Silver Dragon. On level 6, Slash went for an 8 6 5 3 and an 8 6 5 4 that basically pair. I think these are the kind of typical 6 options, but I like Piggy going for the 2 8 7 6. I think that's a strong card. The 6 1 8 7 also jumps out as a powerful card, and I think I like those a little more than the 8 6 5s. Though the 8 6 5s were the first thing I thought of. I forgot there were 8 7 6s. And for the level 7, Slash picked the very strong Silver Dragon, and Piggy picked the pair 7 6 2 8. We can see one going for power, one going for synergy. For Slash's hand, he sort of has the 8 6 5s as a pair, then Silver Dragon is for 9, 5 7 6 4 is for 1, and again, he is a repeat corner. It is interesting that he does not get the repeat corner out of the hand immediately. Neither did he in the previous game. He sort of got a secondary repeat corner out of the hand, but he is happy to run two cards that are clearly corners and clearly for the same corner. And notably, he does it on one of his highest levels, right? He's not, he doesn't have his two level fives for the same corner. One comes out of the hand, then you have the other, because you expect to use a level 5 first. So if you use one of them and the other one is for the same corner, you will have, 4 corners left in your hand after your first move. He is not doing that. He is keeping 2 cards for the same corner in his hand. And also, one of them is his best corner card, so he arguably has some redundant power for that corner. I think that's arguably suspicious. But I'm not, this isn't a major complaint. What has Piggy done here? Piggy has said you have 1 capture from 9, and I can combo it back with 5, 4, 7, 6. You have 2 captures from 7, and I can combo the 8 facing up back with 7, 6, 2, 8, and the 7 facing up with 5, 4, 7, 6 again. So you have no safe captures of my card. Do I threaten to build out? Yes. I think Piggy's threat is 7, 5, 6, 5, and 7, when Slash's only way to take it is comboed back by 2, 8, 7, 6. And we'll also notice Slash has no ability to combo 5, even though 5, 3, 8, 6 is weak to 5. It was also his only card that could combo 5. Now, he might have some kind of setup there, 8, 6, 5, 4, and 3 sets up 7, 4, 5, 6, and 2, but it doesn't set up 6 as well. I don't see a setup there. So I think this is a really strong move. I think now Slash has to be pretty careful, because he doesn't have captures and Piggy has a threat. One move would be to block 1, with the point that if Piggy plays in 7, Slash can now just play in 4. But yeah, but you'd have to block 1. Okay, I was thinking you have to block 1 while holding on to Silver Dragon, or is holding on to 7, 4, 5, 6, but Silver Dragon does the same thing. You need to block 1 in a way where Piggy cannot at some point combo really powerfully with 2, 8, 7, 6, and 2. But you have 2 different cards that cover that from 3, so that's not that big a concern. And also, Piggy has the threat to build out in 7, but not so much threat to build out in 9, with 7, 5, 6, 5 there, because Slash can take that, and Piggy cannot combo back as easily with 2, 8, 7, 6, because Slash can combo it back in either square with, among other things, 7, 4, 5, 6, and either 2 or 3. Now, if Piggy had last turn, then 7, 5, 6, 5, and 9 would be a huge threat, because if Slash takes with 5, 3, 8, 6, then Piggy should just go somewhere on the left side of the board, leave 2 and 3 open, and have a devastating combo in one of those at some point. But on second turn, I think Slash should survive that. So I think the big threat is 7, and I would strongly consider playing 1 to counteract that threat, because we need to be able to meet 7 with 4, and we need 4 to not be comboed back, and the combo back square is 1. So I would just, based on the line I've calculated, consider blocking 1. Hope that made some sense. There are more direct moves to play. I'm not really calculating. My brain seems to be working, but not necessarily in calculation mode, more in kind of logic of the position mode. Which is good, because I've not been playing great, and some of it is that logic of the position has been escaping me. Slash just blocks 9. This is another way to play it. Just block one of the squares you can't play in, and hopefully do so safely. And 8654 was clearly a crummy card in all the lines we looked at. Picky his choices. I do think you want to go 7, though. I think you want to go 7. One thing Slash did that's really important here is Slash did set himself up in 6. So if Piggy does go 7, say 7, 5, 6, 5, and 7, which I think is the natural move, Slash can play 5, 3, 8, 6, and 4. because if 2, 8, 7, 6 in 1 combos, 7, 4, 5, 6, and 6 combos back through 5. And Pigs does not have the combo in 2. Now, Slash doesn't have any ups at that point. Piggy probably has reasonable moves. I don't think Piggy's in trouble there. But this may well be a way for Slash to tie. This may have been a nice tying idea. One thing we could consider as Piggy is 7, 6, 2, 8 in 6. Slash is kind of bad on right power, and 7, 6, 2, 8 and 6 is close to safe versus the hand. 5, 3, 8, 6 and 3 gets comboed back. But I don't like this because I think the problem with a move like 7, 6, 2, 8 and 6 is Slash is such a big threat in 3. Yes, you can combo it back if it happens now, but if Slash just starts playing elsewhere on the board, you're going to have to go and block 3 at some point. And maybe that's okay, but you can't actually block 3 safely after that. You've used your high left power. Yeah, I don't like that idea anymore. I think that's a bad idea from me. And the reason I didn't want to use 7, 5, 6, 5 is that was my combo back card if they take in 3 and 2. And I didn't want to use 5, 4, 7, 6 because that's my combo back card in 4. And I didn't want to use 2, 8, 7, 6 because that gives them options of many ways to take. But they're still all comboed back. Maybe 2, 8, 7, 6 and 6 is not crazy, but it is a weird idea. I don't like it much. Yeah, this is a nice move from Slash. I really like that by creating a combo in 6, it did the thing I was trying to do in 1, is it lets you capture a move played in 7. Yeah, this is really good play, I think. And I think Piggy can play in 7, and it's not a loss. I don't have the exact line. Again, I'm not deep calculating, but it's just very hard for me to believe that's a loss. But you have to be careful. Because actually, with the 5 facing up from 1, 7, 4, 5, 6 almost sweeps your hand from 1. With the card, the 5 facing up from 4 to 1. So that's actually. Oh, it'd be easy to get scared here and get in trouble. Very good move. I think one of the downsides of going in 8 for Piggy is Slash's hand is kind of up down, and going in 8 sort of takes advantage of that because it takes advantage of the left right weakness. But it also makes the game fundamentally up down, and Slash has done a nice job of doing that. And Piggy's hand's better side to side, right? Slash's hand's better up down, Piggy's is better side to side. And that makes a strong case for throw something in 4 or 6, not 2 or 8. And I've been thinking, some people in chess, and I've been really focused on chess recently, say like, what do you do after a game? Right, Piggy does go 7. He does it keeping 7, 5, 6, 5 in his hand, not 7, 6, 2, 8. I guess that makes sense. One point is after Slash goes 4, Piggy can go safely in 6, and maybe that ties. Like if Slash plays, say, Ultros in 4, Piggy goes Bomb in 6. Silver Dragon in 3 is not actually winning because Piggy can play Luzu in 1, and that's somehow a tie. So maybe that just holds. I think that just holds. Weird. Going back to what I was saying, though, that the best way to learn is to improve from your own games. And so coming out of a game, one argument is you should have sort of a checklist of things you looked for. And in chess, this is somewhat easier. One is where did you screw up in the opening? And it's much easier to check that because there's like reference opening materials and everyone has an engine. And also, you're supposed to know your openings, right? You're getting the same opening each game. And so there's stuff like that that's just useful to check, because if you get slightly better at your openings every game you play, you will see a lot of improvement. But no one ever, or most people don't actually look up all the lines in games they play. They only do for their tournament games, and most people don't play many tournament games. But it is a clear avenue to improvement where people should take. That said, we can think, are there other tools to do so? And are there tools that apply to triple triad? One is like identify the first big mistake you made, but again, it's really hard to do so in triple triad. It's really hard to point to where you made the mistake. It is, of course, easier for me because I have access to a solver, so I can check stuff after the fact when interested. And I can do a quick check just to get a heads up. And if anyone ever wants a quick check, just tell me and I can check your games. But I can also check more extensively, which again, other people don't have access to. Now, I don't think I've used this very well, but I was interested, what can you do without access to stuff like that? I was trying to think, like, what sort of can you checklist off that you could actually think about? And one of it is, did I direct the game in directions I was better, or did they win the kind of directional control war? And I think Piggy's move in 8 looked really good, and I was really positive about it. But I do think it had a directional issue that now means it is Slash who is looking for wins here. After Slash's really excellent move in 9. Now, maybe I just haven't calculated something and like 5-3-8-6 just loses on the spot. But I'm not sure why it would. And maybe Slash has other options. But I think the question is mostly like, does Piggy tie after 5-3-8-6 and 4? Alright, he's picked up Silver Dragon. Silver Dragon could potentially go in 2, because then 7-4-5-6 controls a lot of space on the right. That's an interesting move. It also doesn't flip 5, which is pretty important from Slash's perspective. I'm a little skeptical because both his cards must combo in 6. Alright, he goes in 6. I was going to say, because if you go in 2 and Piggy plays in 3, if you have to go in 6, you have to flip 5, and Piggy has a really good combo back. Also, you didn't have a capture back in 1, so obviously that wasn't going to get played. I don't know what I was thinking. Alright, Slash starts in 6. Now, this gives Piggy an option in 3, of course, as well as options in 4. So I guess we just look through. If 5-4-7-6 and 3, Piggy is up 6-4. If Slash plays the capture in 4, he loses because 7-5-6-5 and 2 avoids the combo. If Slash plays the capture in 2 with 7-4-5-6, it is 5-5, and that's going to be a tie. Piggy ties with a 2-8-7-6 in 4, or 2-8-7-6 in 1. Either one ties, but no more. So, okay, Slash does hit the tie against the obvious move in 3. What about 4? Let's avoid getting comboed. So let's start with 5-4-7-6. Goes up 6-4. But 5-3-8-6 and 1 is a tie. Yeah. Seems like there's not going to be a win here. You also don't have a move in 1 because you don't have anything you want to stick in 2. I don't think. Yeah, you'd need to set up something to combo in 2 that isn't 2-8-7-6, but I don't think you have that. 2 doesn't work. Yeah, looks like a tie. I would have started in 4, I think, if I was Slash, but I didn't actually check it. We can, at this point, I think, safely bring up the solver. Also see if anyone's messaged me. Piggy says set 3 underway. Okay. In the closed game, Slash of time 173 for my records on first turn. And this is the question mark game. And Slash of time again hit first turn. And the move order was 5, 7, 6, 4, 5, 7, 6, 4, 5, 8, 8, 6, 5, 4, 9, 7, 6, 2, 8, 7, 7, 6, 4, 8, 6. And on the side, I'm going to be bringing up the solver. Where is it? There you are. Let's type in the blue hand. Blue hand is always second turn hand on my thing. 7, 6, 4, 5, 7, 6, 2, 8, 2, 8, 7, 6, 7, 5, 6, 5. And the card he's about to play, 5, 4, 7, 6. Oh, I didn't realize that flipped 5. That's dumb. That means my calculation was completely wrong. So I had assumed 7, 4, 5, 6 ties here, and I think it still does, right? It still makes it 5, 5. You're still guaranteed a capture on the last turn. You still don't concede any double captures. This is still a tie. Okay. I just picked it up. Good game so far. 7, 4, 5, 6, 2. We will see shortly. And I put in Piggy's hand. Now it's time to put in Slash's hand. 5, 7, 6, 4. 8, 6, 5, 4, 5, 3, 8, 6. 5, 4, 7, 6. And the card he's about to play. 7, 4, 5, 6. No, 5, 4, 7, 6 wasn't in his hand. 5, 7, 6, 4. Oh, 7, 6, 4, 8. 5, 7, 6, 4, 8, 6, 5, 4, 5, 3, 8, 6, 7, 6, 4, 8, 7, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So I want to make sure I'm reloading, so I grab the final moves so I have them in video form. Because it's nice when you don't have moves missed. But I guess. Alright, there we go. 7, 4, 5, 6, 2. Now we wait on Piggy's reply. But either move with 2, 8, 7, 6. It's close to getting plussed in 4, but is not. An odd and an even cannot equal two even numbers, so even if you can't do math, you can kind of pattern recognition your way to that's not going to be comboed. But also 2, 8, 7, 6, and 1 is also a tie. 7, 5, 6, 5 loses in both squares, obviously. Not deep insight. We didn't catch every move. Very rude of them. So 2, 8, 7, 6 went in 4. 5, 3. I should have been reloading more. 5, 3, 8, 6 went in 1. 7, 5, 6, 5 remaining. And we get a tie. So Slash leads, having won the closed set. But difficult sets remaining. And they tie, and now I'm going to check out the solver on this one, because I'm curious. I think there are no mistakes here, but I think 8, 6, 5, 4 was a really good move. And I think if there was anything going on, maybe Piggy had a little more pressure off his first move. But we will soon see. So solver doing a check of 5, 7, 6, 4, and 5. It looks like it thinks it was very low pressure. Though now we're seeing more losses. So maybe not. But I do think there's a case for like, maybe I don't know which card to do there. But just checking something in 4, 6. Now the solver is liking the starter more. So Piggy's starter last game, 42.5% of Slash's moves lost on the spot. The average is about 30%. Here, 37.5% of Piggy's moves lost. So, and none of them were winning. So, okay, that's actually a pretty good starter. That's not the move. Piggy plays in 8, which I thought was pretty strong. And indeed, Slash has 11 ties, 17 losses, which is pretty decent pressure. Slash finds a move in 9, which I thought was really good, and it looks like it was good. I had wanted to play, my instinct had been stick something in 1. And as long as that card wasn't 5, 3, 8, 6, which of course it shouldn't be because that was the recapture for 4, that did tie as well. So I'm glad my instincts were all right here. Piggy plays 7, and we are headed towards a tie. I had expected this move, which did tie. Slash played this move, which also tied. Piggy goes here, and we have 1 tie. Yeah. All right. So it looks like another nicely played game. Neither of them have made any mistakes in open, and we've caught them for the next game as well. Oh, I didn't show you the solver. Oh, I'm so sorry. My bad. I forgot to screen switch you. Suffice it to say, they played well, and we didn't have much to see. All right, let's see what the stips are for this one, because we haven't watched this rule set yet. Max of 1 card per level. So looking at Slash's hand, that's 10-9-8-7-6. Looking at Piggy's hand, that's 10-9-6-7-8. So yeah, 10-9-8-7-6 for both. Um, all cards must have 4 different numbers. This is why we're seeing 8-7-6-5s, 8-7-6-4s. Doesn't explain why we're not seeing like 9-8-5-4s, which might be a decent option. But maybe in a world where all cards have numbers like this, maybe 8-7-6-5s play even better. I don't think so though. But in a world where all cards have these number gaps, or have to use different numbers, there's going to be a lot more kind of gaps of 1, so maybe 9s play poorly. But okay, what's the next step? This may be relevant. You can only use a total of 6 different numbers. So the reason you're not using 9s is because it's hard to have that on some of the cards. And yeah. Rare semis allowed. Alright, no idea what I do with this rule set, but it is interesting they have both gone A8 opposing corners, specifically an A8-5-4. The A8-6-5 seems like the better pairing, but A8-7-4 sometimes is a little higher raw power. Probably is here, but I'm not entirely convinced. Then Piggy has 2 opposing 8-7-6-8-6-4 somethings, and then a side to side. Slash again starts in 5. If we look at Slash's hand, it has the 2 opposites. Then it has 2 more opposites for the same corners, and then it has a card for 3. So it doesn't really have a natural card for 7. And that makes me think maybe if you're Piggy, and this is what Piggy did last game actually, so maybe he was seeing the same things, is, starting with kind of 4, 6, 8, 7, and 3 kind of thing. Something that just Slash doesn't really have a card facing. On the other hand, after that starter, 4, 6, 8, 7 has 6 against that, and there are captures. The other thing is just to say at some point, can we make an upright card be missing? And you can sort of get there a lot of different ways, right? Like, I was thinking, like, even if you start like 8 and Slash goes somewhere like 1, though Slash just seems prone to going 7 or 9 there, and you kind of get some Z or something. Slash won't have a great sweeper for 4 and 7 at the end. I think there's a lot of paths to I can make you miss a facing upright card. If we think directionally like last time, because the thing about center starters is they give the opponent control over which way the game is facing. Both of them are better up down. It's hard to find a super directional advantage, so I'm not particularly drawn to 4 or 6 or 2 or 8. I think I'd be thinking of play a corner that's difficult. Another thing is maybe you just play in 7 yourself. You say you will never have particularly good numbers out facing from action around here. So if you did 8, 6, 4, 5, and 7, any capture they have in 8, you can play 8, 4, 8, 7, 9, and that's going to be safe and lock in 8. And it will combo 8 if 8 was 4, 6, 8, 7, and if it's 8, 5, 4, 8, well, you got a powerful card out of their hand. So that potentially is tough for them to take that direction, and their only capture from 4, they must use Tifa to do. And again, you have a combo back there. You have 4, 6, 8, 7. So I think 8, 6, 4, 5, and 7 makes some sense. Your hand's not amazing at taking it back, but I don't think it has to be. We don't really threaten to build out all that well, though. Maybe we do. Maybe we threaten to just play like 5, 8, 8, 4, and 8. You have no capture. Slash has no capture in 9. He is also weak left right, and Slash doesn't have a good capture in 4. So I think you do have a threat to start building out from your start. So that move appeals to me. It's not the card that was picked up, but obviously there are so many moves to consider against a center starter. Two people are kind of unlikely to look at the same one. This is the open set for my database Slash of Time versus Piggyman. And starter was 6, 5, 4, 8, and 5. Dalamar pointed out, and this is kind of neat, with certain results in this match, we could actually have a repeat of 3 of the 4 semi-finalists, I believe, of the last TTAC. If Acela wins, Slash wins, they were the 2 finalists, and one of the other semi-finalists is still alive. I forget who. It would be possible and interesting. All right, but let's look at this move. What are Slash's captures, and is there play against them? 4, 6, 8, 7 in 2 can be comboed back by Luca. A5, 4, 8 in 2. I guess is just being recaptured by Luca. And that will be safe, actually, because that uses up all Slash's ups. So Slash does not really have a good capture in 2. Okay, good point. Though, if that happens, Piggy does not have a recapture in 4, but that's not needed to apply pressure. In 4, Slash is also really reliant on A5, 4, 8. So this was a good spot that Slash is weak going up. I didn't really notice this. I was differently focused. And there's not necessarily a super punish of that card coming out. It's more that, like, if that card comes out of Slash's hands, there are problems. And also, Slash can't leave 2 and 4 for the last few squares, because that card has 1 capture from both, but it's kind of dead in the other. So I like this concept. I think, again, after 2 moves into the game, I think the 5 starter has left Slash a little behind. That last game, he found an excellent move, and I thought was ahead going into the end game here. So I don't want to overjump to reactions. These are obviously both superb players. I'm going to start getting ready to check with the solver, because again, I am asleep. Slash has picked up a card. 6, 5, 4, 8. Slash really likes the 5 starters. Now that may be because he's not been given more appealing corner options. I've forgotten what Slash's 5th card is, so I can't fully type it in. It must be an 8765, right? It is pretty telling on these rule sets that they've basically ended up with the same hand. In the last game we saw and this one, there were some differences, but pretty close. I guess Slash went 865s and Piggy went 876s, so a little different. But I do think the goal of these creative steps should be figure out something where there's options, not figure out something where where you've come up with these complex set of things that limit the options enough that, like, everyone's going to be like, okay, we'll do the same thing. 5, 8, 7, 6. Slash goes for the slash in game 2. So if you're Piggy here, one thing I didn't get to on his move that I did start thinking about on my move was, is there a way to build out? And here there is 5, 8, A4, and 4. 10s are really powerful on this set. Like A4, 7, 8, and 6 is also, a major consideration. Probably not so great because Slash is such an easy reply with the same in 8. But 4 and 6 really jump out as appealing moves. And the nice thing about 4 is, sorry, just checking a thought. It's nice that Slash has the combo in 8, right? I'm sorry, that Piggy has the combo in 8. That's a square to leave open. We know there are no double numbers, so 6 is kind of a bad square for both. and slash doesn't really have good play in 2. So for instance, like one line is 5 8 8 4 in 4, 4 6 8 7 in 2. That's comboed in 3, and I think that's just game. I think slash can't play in 2 there, so I think he kind of has to play 6. I guess he has technically safety in 7, but 6 seems more natural. Say you play A4 5 8 and 6. It's 5 5, and I think then Piggy plays 6 7 5 8 and 2 maybe. Nah, slash can play 7 there. Alright, not sure quite how to do it. I think Piggy should have good play there, but I'm not actually sure it leads to anything. 6 looks like a good reply. You know, both players have the 10s up and down, so both players have similar kind of automatic safety in 4 or 6, and because they're paired, it's easy to respond one to the other. I don't think there's too much argument for 3 or 7. At least I'm not seeing it. 6 7 5 8 and 2 is vaguely interesting. It's probably not good, but it's kind of interesting to me. Because if it induces 4, that card's weak to 5, and Piggy, I think, is more relevant combo play there. Like he's gonna have first access or best access to 8 if wanted, and if slash goes in 3, slash can combo it 2 different ways. But 4 6 8 7 gives back a same in 6 to 8 6 4 5, and A5 4 8 gives back a plus wall to A4 7 8. But can you take it? Because then slash has the combo back at 8. That all seems pretty risky. Yeah, I'd probably just play 5 8 8 4 and 4. And indeed, when we reload, that is the move we see. I think it's late enough in the game. I might pop open the solver here just to get a sense. I didn't think any mistakes were being made. These seemed like good moves to me, but always worth a check, and I've had fun checking starter pressure. Who has found power with their starter? So I will not flip you over because this is prettier. Alright, it's looking like the starter was lower pressure this time. But we'll see how much. It takes a little while to do. My instinct was to go. I probably should switch you over if I'm actually going to talk about it. But 8 6 4 5 and 7. So I'm going to compare that to the move played, just out of curiosity. It's almost done with evaluating Slash's starter. Again, 30% is an average starter. Piggy's first we saw was 42.5. Slash's was 37.5. This is 22.5. Now, that doesn't mean it's a bad starter, because it might be a set where starters are hard to find good ones, but slightly below average pressure. I would have played 8 6 4 5 and 7, I think, against which slash would have 12 ties. Piggy went in 1, and slash had 15 ties. So it looks like mine may have been slightly higher pressure, but when numbers are that close, you have to dive deeper to get a sense. So probably not. Looks like a good move. And slash played 5 6 7 8 and 9. And Piggy had 4 ties. Wow, good move by slash. His 4 ties were, if you were playing along yourself, 6 7 5 8 and 2 was a tie. That was the move I thought looked complicated and scary. 6 7 5 8 and 4 was a tie. Did not really consider that. 8, 6, 4, 5, and 7, following the corner Piggy wanted to play with the corner I wanted to play, was a tie. And the last tie was what was played in the game, 5, 8, 8, 4, and 4. It makes sense for Slash's move to be good pressure, though. It gives a same. It also gets a card out of his hand that has no play, that faces away from the action. I think Slash is handling these multiple cards for the same corner hands well, but I also feel like there should be exploitableness about them. In this position, Slash has 3 moves that tie, 12 moves that lose. What are the ties? He has Tifa to 7, a move I mentioned is potentially safe here. He has Tifa to 6, and he has 4, 6, 8, 7 to 6, but 8, 5, 4, 8 to 6 loses. Why did that lose? I didn't see the loss. Piggy takes the combo immediately. Yeah, that is weak to them. Yeah, that makes sense. Don't know why I didn't really consider that. I didn't realize the card in 6 was weak to 9. So Slash has picked up Tifa. She ties in either 6 or 7. Not sure where else you'd put her, so him picking her up does indicate he has found the tie. Close the solver. I never know how much to bring up the solver when doing these analyses, but especially when I'm not in great shape, seems interesting to have. And to me, my analysis sounded very cogent, but I do notice sometimes, like, I feel like I'm saying sensible things, and I watch back later and go, no, that was all wrong. What are you talking about? And it's not because, like, I've seen the solver. It's just, like, in a better mindset, I think it was totally wrong. And sometimes when I think I'm flowing and getting everything right, I am getting everything right. All right, Slash goes in 7, taking safety. One thing to note, Slash has a random plus wall in 2 of 5, but that doesn't flip anything extra. I'd predict, one of the low-level cards in 8 here. That will put Piggy up 7 to 3. And then I guess it's just a tie. Like, Slash plays 4, 6, 8, 7, and 6. It's 5, 5, and A 5, 4, 8 is going to take something to keep it a tie. So that's against either move in 8. So 8's just a tie. Now we know everything's a tie, but like, what gives the biggest challenge? Because we cheated and used the solver. Can we start in 2? I don't think so. No, we don't want to start in 2. Because if we start in 2, fundamentally, like we're saying, you combo, we combo back. But if you don't combo, we now have to block that square, and that's not a square we want to be blocking. So I think you just start in 8 and you play a tie. Anything happening in the Discord? We have games that have been played. There's the music chat. Suikoden game, Suikoden song versus Legend of Dragoon song. Okay. I think my voice is going. I talked too much yesterday. But I do want to get this history of these games. So we fight through, and we'll check messages. Oh, what's happening in the Premier League? It's fine morning. It's a Saturday. I shouldn't admit what time it is, but I'm getting up late. It's 12:30. I should be more awake than I am, but I am not. There are no games this weekend. So why did my friend say I should watch more soccer? Meaning he should watch more soccer. I should also watch more soccer, but he wasn't telling me that. All right, don't know what's happening there. I guess it's probably international games, but I've never cared about international games. So what's the story of the match so far? Game 1, I didn't see, so I'm now failing to remember. But I thought they played a reasonable game. They played a slash, looked good. Um, yeah, looked fine. Game 2 we saw was the closed game. And in game 2, I didn't like Piggy's move in 4. Now, I don't want to be results oriented, and I know good players make moves like that, but I wanted to leave the combo squares open, and I thought he shut off the squares he was good in, right? Like, it was telling that he used up a good lock in on move 4 and didn't have, on his move in 4, and didn't have one for his final move in 2, right? So I thought too quick to use that. Okay, Piggy goes fun. Now, I'm assuming he's not blundered horribly, that he has checked this properly. In which case, this is a fun, cool move because it gives chance of mistake. For instance, either card slash can play into combo stuff. Is that relevant? So a5, 4, 8, and 2 now loses to 8, 6, 4, 5, and 8. 4, 6, 8, 7, and 2 slash will go up 7 to 3. And Piggy presumably plays in 6, and okay, that's a tie. 6, 4, slash takes 1 back. Now, slash plus walls it back, but that doesn't matter. That's a tie. If slash goes in 6, unlikely square, but okay. If slash goes in 6, if he goes a5, 4, 8, and 6, Piggy combos a5, 4, 8, and 6 looks scary. Okay, we're gonna come back to that, but I'm worried. If 4, 6, 8, 7, and 8, Piggy plays in 6, and he's good. If a5, 4, 8, and 8, Piggy plays in 2, and he's good. If 4, 6, 8, 7, and 6, Piggy plays in 8, and he's great. a5, 4, 8, and 6, though. Slash goes up 6, 4. Piggy cannot recapture the card in 3. So if Piggy goes in 2, he loses. The idea has to be 8, 6, 4, 5, and 8. That's going to flip back 4 cards, and I guess slash flips 3. I guess it's a tie? Okay. I got worried there. 6, 4, 8, 2, 5, 5. I guess it is just 5, 5. Okay. Alright, cool move. Put the fear of God in me, but cool move. He's styling. Fun way to play this game, rather than like the conventional just play 8 and have your tie go home. Alright, so what's the story of the match? So Slash did get first turn and closed. First turn and closed is a huge advantage. Sometimes even more so on split level sets. If I had known my set was the closed set, I might have tried to augment it. I think one thing that favors second turn is getting rid of plus wall. So if I had known my set was the closed set that I was making the rules for, I might have done a same plus combo set and made it one level and just simplified. Probably level 4. I think that's actually a pretty good level for that rule set. Something where there's no double numbers of the max number. Now, yeah, everyone's going to spam 7, 6, 3, 2s, but there's nothing all that dominant. You all spam the same things, but it's going to give a more fair game. And then game 3, I thought Piggy's first move looked good, but then Slash's reply, this was in the question mark game, Slash's reply was really strong, and suddenly it was Piggy that had to be careful, but he calmly steadied the waters and was in nice shape going into the final few moves. It was Slash who had to be a little careful. 6 is played. And here, game 4, I think the solver said there was some danger here. I'm not sure there actually was, particularly. Like, it seemed like the kind of the first moves you check, moves that are safety, ended up being moves that were sufficient. Again, we missed the last few moves. Very rude of them to play so quickly on the final turns. So it was 8, 6, 4, 5, and 8, 4, 6, 8, 7, and 2, 8, 4, 7, 8 remaining. I have missed a move. What did I miss? 5, 1, 9, 4. I missed T-Fen 7. 6, 8, 8, 5, 7. So Slash still leads. Who's gotten the better of these open games? I don't know. Again, the question mark game, I thought Piggy was gonna have the advantage, but Slash's move in 9 was great. Really good move. Not just finding safety, but finding safety while setting up a combo in 6 was really key there. Indie games on the open rule set, I think this one was pretty balanced. Again, the solver might disagree, but that's how it looked to me. And the other one, what was the other one? 3, 5, 7. Yeah, Piggy had some edge, but ran out of left power. And so it was pretty safe for Slash. Like, I think structurally and combo-wise, it looked like Piggy should have edge, but I don't think he really did. So, very balanced open games, and Slash has taken the closed. Now, the scary part here for Piggy is you can just lose the match on closed, right? Question mark comes up closed, and you can just be out. But what have we learned about the question mark game? They're both going to run 7-6-5-4s. You can put your opponent on 7-6-5-4s. The thing about putting your opponent on 7-6-5-4s is that doesn't tell you much, because if they're angled the right way, they can kind of do anything. And if they're angled the wrong way, they don't do very much. So it's not that telling. We've only played that set once, so we don't know if people will return to hands. They really shouldn't, but that's useful information. If someone does, they're very punishable on a set that can come up closed. We learned that Piggy likes really symmetrical hands, and will do so in the question mark game. That might be exploitable from Slash. If he sees something that has a paired card, it might mean you can just make a hard read that that paired card will be in the hand. If you're Piggy, I have found Slash's hands less obvious to follow. If you see a corner, that doesn't mean there won't be another corner for the same corner, which might be good in this format, that it's not all that predictable. Curious if they're going to keep playing. We can go to view games. But they could easily be hand building, because also, even if you do intend to play a similar hand, I think you want to look at it a bit, just so the opponent doesn't think you're on the same hand or isn't given clues. Because if you pick a hand immediately, then you're likely either on the same hand with no adjustments, or on a completely new hand you already built. And I think if you take a little time in card select, you widen your range, and that's probably useful. But I should check. I'm gonna pause the recording until the game comes up. And actually, we'll just end this recording, and if the game comes up, we'll start a new one. Cheers.